Hi, it's Uncle Bear, and it's week 11 of my project that's hosted on Patreon. Take heart, make hearth, get cozy, experiments with embracing winter and not feeling so crappy, and it's week 11, which is wild. This week's theme is devoted in honor of my mom, Sally Ann Colby Klein. Sally Ann Colby Klein was a powerful, funny, intense, smart, creative, MacGyvering kind of human being. She was extraordinary. She is extraordinary. I feel her very present still in my life. And Sally Ann valued intensity and passion above almost anything else. It was really a big deal for her to be passionate and to be intense. She would get really excited and really intense. Like that. Frequently, and I do too, as well. So I grew up with this part of being human really elevated beyond almost any other quality. Intensity, passion, power. My mom loved that. She loved to talk with people that had interesting, intense lives, and she loved to do interesting and intense things herself. That was a big deal. It was so much of a big deal that as I was healing myself more in my 30s-ish, she didn't like that I was getting mellow. She would make fun of me a little bit, and that I was, I still was intense and passionate, but I'd learned how to use the bridle of love and bring in my energy and focus it a little bit more. I'm still going to be learning that for the rest of my days. And she would say to me, I don't want you to lose your intensity. You're getting too mellow, And I think she felt it was threatening to her because this was such a big value for her and I had been, amply demonstrating the intensity and passion in my life, that the thought of me getting calmer, more centered, mellow was just threatening to her in some ways. She didn't like it. As my mother kept on aging, though, and she started to suffer from multiple physical health, chronic health situations, my mom had a lot of pain. And the last years of her life, actually the last decade of her life, was filled with a lot of suffering and pain. It was really interesting because what happened probably about 5-6 years before she died, she said, you know what I really value now? I value kindness. So that was stunning. It was stunning for me that this volcano, powerful, passionate woman, Sally Ann, she valued kindness. She said, basically, passion and intensity are all beautiful and good, but without kindness, it kind of doesn't matter. And I have moved way more towards that in my life, of valuing kindness above so many other things. I still like intensity and adventure and passion, all sorts of things. I really do enjoy a host of ways that human beings show up in the world in their complicated, gorgeous, beautiful mess of being. And kindness, wow, it gets me. That tenderness. Kindness, it's interesting. It has roots in kind, like humankind, so of a nature. It also has roots in nature, natural. So to be kind was to be natural, which is really fascinating to me. And kindness itself holds so many other really incredible qualities. Heartwarming, affectionate, tender, considerate. All these things make up kindness. So this week's theme is kindness. I also needed a theme that I could use to focus not on me. I'm I'm not sick of me. I'm my number one fan. And I need to move my energy a little bit away from myself a bit. This week, I am looking for kindness experiments that I can create towards others, towards the world, and myself too. There'll be some of that too as well. I'm a little bummed out because I normally am one of those weirdo human beings who I love to go out into the world and I love to help people. I love to assist people in the world. It just gives me such joy. And with COVID times, I'm not going to get that natural thing of being able just to gallivant out on the street and seek an ability, a way to like help people. I loved in the 80s, I think it was the 80s, where this whole idea of random acts of kindness, I remember Risk a Rask, random act of kindness, was a really big deal. And I know it still is. I'm excited to learn in online communities, like who is actually working with kindness? How is that affecting people and change and all sorts of things? Because I really do believe that you can be fierce and powerful and kind all at the same time. They don't cancel each other out. There's fierce loving, fierce kindness. There's ferocity in the sense of a big energetic desire to open towards all sorts of experiences and emotions. Just doesn't have to be about anger, which, by the way, I celebrate and honor anger. It is one of the reasons why I lived. And we're going to have an anger week at some point. Not now. Some point. Because I believe that we need to harness anger. We need to become friends with anger and stop demonizing it. And we need to channel that energy in appropriate ways. And I'll be learning that to the day I die. Kindness this week. Kindness. I am going to do a very simple experiment, and I invite you to join me in this experiment for today, Monday. And the experiment just simply is what's kindness? How do you know when you're being kind? How do you receive kindness? Like, what are moments of kindness that you have received? So just taking a few moments to think about and let kindness be a focus for yourself. And do any kind of writing, journaling, collaging, movement that reflects your relationship to kindness and how you want that to be in your life. So let's start there. Kindness. I'm really happy to be working on this one this week. It feels tender. It feels like it's touching a tender part of who I am, and I need that right now. And I need to move that out to others into the world. And I am curious about how do we do this thing in COVID times? How do we enact kindness when we're not so much up in each other's space? At least those of us who are alone. But also I think like we just aren't rubbing up against each other so much. So the moments of kindness are different. Those opportunities are different. If you like this experience, please join me on my Patreon. So much of the stuff there is free. Basically, every experiment is free. If you want to subscribe, you can start at $5 a month. And then there's other levels of subscription if you want some other things. But I'd love for you to join this community that's forming on Patreon. This YouTube channel, this is going to be posted to Facebook, and it's also going to be posted to YouTube. So there's a subscribe button, and please subscribe. You can ring the bell if you want notifications of my uploads. Most of the stuff that I'm doing on Patreon, I upload to YouTube, and is free for the public. And then there's some special things that only people who are patrons will be able to see. So thank you for going along this ride, this 11 weeks so far that we've been sharing this space together. So I appreciate it deeply. And may you find moments of kindness today and every day. May you step into kindness when possibilities and opportunities present themselves. We do this thing together. We do this thing together. Thanks.